We reached out kind of late over the weekend, and we're really happy we could put this together because I'm notified that our candidate for Lieutenant Governor, Alison Esposito, distinguished retired member of the NYPD and former deputy inspector, was going to come up to Putnam County for a visit. So we were able to take a couple really important stops earlier today. We visited Promenade 6, which is a new small business right across from the Putnam Plaza. They're opening up hopefully early September. Got to meet with some small business owners. Walk down the hamlet of Carmel to look at the beautiful row of honor on Lake Lenita. Check out Sage Law Firm and show around a little bit of our Main Street, beautiful Main Street in the hamlet of Carmel. Afterwards, we were joined by a number of our local officials in law enforcement, active and retired, to discuss some of the very serious public safety issues facing our state and our county because of the series of criminal justice changes that were forced through Albany over the past several years, including bail reform, discovery changes, 50A, you name it. We were joined by our Putnam County Sheriff, former MTA Police Chief Kevin McConville, our Carmel Town Supervisor, who's also coincidentally a former police chief for the town of Carmel, our Deputy Supervisor, Bob Channel, who's also retired law enforcement, and our legislator, Ginny Nasarino, who is the chairperson of the Protective Services Committee of the Putnam County Legislature. I know we're also joined today by my colleague in the State Assembly, who's been very active, very vocal on a lot of these issues, happens to be a candidate for United States Congress, Assemblyman Mike Lawler, and our amazing Putnam County Clerk, who deals with some of these issues in a different way, from operating our DMV and so many other important services in Putnam County. That's our Putnam County Clerk, Michael Bartolotti. I'm just going to turn around really quick to make sure I didn't miss anybody. I think we're good. But with that, I do want to introduce someone that we're all going to get to know a lot better. She has been a champion for public safety issues. You can ask her what her top priority is, and this is among the top for her and Congressman Lee Zeldin as they run to help save this beautiful state that we all call home, New York. And they have a really bold initiative that is going to help protect our families, our community, and this beautiful county. We're blessed that Putnam County is ranked among one of the safest counties in New York, but we still have issues that we deal with by neighboring Connecticut. We have a lot of people that live in this community that work in New York City, so the public safety issues that affect our neighbors in Manhattan and in all the boroughs, they affect us here at home as well. So I want to thank, again, Alison Esposito, and invite her to the podium to address members of the press and just give her a great big, warm Putnam County welcome. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. It's such a pleasure to be here today in Putnam County. We have had a very busy day. The elected officials, this great group behind me, has given me a wonderful tour. And unfortunately, in New York State right now, there's no shortage of things to talk about when it comes to in terms of fixing things. Today, we concentrated a lot on small businesses and public safety and security. I definitely feel that government's number one priority is the safety and security of its people. And right now in New York State, they are failing miserably. People are afraid, plain and simple. They have every right to be afraid. We have elected officials that instead of embracing victims and championing the victims in these incidents, they're championing the criminals. And sometimes they're even hailed as heroes. We have seen incidents around the state, just recently in New York City, where an individual went to work pursuing the American dream. He went to work in his bodega and he was attacked by an individual with a prior record who came behind the counter and threw a 61-year-old man into the wall. When the 61-year-old man defended himself, because New York State has shackled law enforcement and hasn't allowed them to defend their people. When he defended himself, the district attorney in Manhattan charged him with murder. Unacceptable. Unacceptable. So we were touring the town earlier, and an individual, a gentleman came up to me after a ride. I'm being told that they have some beautiful bike trails up here, and I can't wait to actually give it a try myself. But he came up and he asked me, will you be for all the people? Very simple question, but it's actually a very important question. Yes, in a word answer, I'm not your traditional politician that can't answer in one word, but the actual answer is yes. It doesn't matter who comes out to the polls, who votes. When you are elected into office, you represent all of the people of the state of New York. And your job is to do what's best for all of the people of the state of New York. And the state is failing. The state is only looking out for their best interest and criminals' best interest. And it's unacceptable. As was stated, I was a cop. I'm still a cop. I had to retire. I was a cop with the New York City Police Department for almost 25 years. My last post was the commanding officer and deputy inspector of the police precinct in Brooklyn South, the 70th precinct. Incredibly diverse and wonderful area of New York City, and I was blessed to work there. I was blessed to serve alongside some of the most dedicated officers. I never would have walked away if I didn't really believe that our state was experiencing major problems. I walked away to serve alongside Congressman Lee Zeldin, who is a proven fighter, a soldier, a veteran, a paratrooper. He's a congressman fighting for New Yorkers every day. And he is walking away from his seat in Congress, putting it all on the line, being all in, taking nothing for granted, because we truly believe that those who cannot protect themselves deserve to be protected, and New York deserves better. We deserve a government that puts its people first, not its self-interest first. When we talk about COVID mandates and over-regulating small businesses, some of the businesses we got to tour today were pushed off even opening because of COVID mandates and regulations. We have to support our small businesses. We know that we cannot paint all of upstate with the same broad brush that we do in New York City, although it seems that the politicians in Albany have forgotten that. We understand that we need to bring jobs back to New York. We are experiencing an exodus. We're leading the way in New York, but it's in population loss. They are trying now in Albany to ban all gas hookups in new construction. We believe we should be safely extracting our natural resources. We believe we should be supporting small businesses and the economy. Up and down this state, I meet with people with tears in their eyes. And they tell me, if you don't win, I'm out. Or they tell me even worse, I'm not gonna get to see my grandkids grow up here because my kids can't afford it. They are fleeing the state for cheaper, freer, and safer states. Simply stated, our government is failing us, and you deserve better. And I am going to continue my commitment to all of New York State and all 62 counties, once elected and beyond, that you will continue to hear from us. You will continue to see us. Your voices will be heard. Congressman Zeldin and I are looking to bring ears back to Albany, a place that has been deaf for far too long. We are looking to support law enforcement and back them up. We understand that our cops up and down the state have a very difficult job, and we ask them to wear many hats. Sometimes guidance counselor, sometimes big brother or sister, sometimes divorce counselor, sometimes medic, sometimes just a support network for an old lady that just watched her husband have a heart attack. We should be funding our police and giving them the training and the resources that they need to do the job that society needs them to do and to do it properly. We need to be supporting our small businesses. We need to be putting tax breaks in effect instead of taxing our New Yorkers out of existence. We understand that you as a parent should be involved in your child's school, should be involved in your children's education. And we understand that big government needs to protect you and then get out of your life, because it's you and you alone to decide what's best for you and your family. Now, like I said, we can talk all day about the policies that need changing, the policies that need adjusting, and the New Yorkers that we need to be standing up for. We have a lot of work to do, but it's going to start with each and every one of you getting out to vote and making sure that on November 8th we send a clear message to Kathy Hochul and the leaders in Albany that have been acting on their own behalf and without integrity. I call upon Kathy Hochul on almost a daily basis, and I'll do it again today, to repeal cashless bail. We have our correction officers suffering as a result of HOME. We need to reevaluate what Albany has been putting out, and we're going to do so on January 1st with your help. 24 years ago, I stood in New York City and I raised my right hand and I vowed to protect the people of the city of New York. And I believe New York State will speak. And then on January 1st, standing next to then Governor Zeldin, I will once again raise my right hand. And we will vow this time to lead and protect all of the people of the state of New York, and we will deliver back to you the New York State that you deserve. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
So the risk of doing something like this in the scorching heat is that you can get a little distracted, and I went out of order. Excited that we have Team Zeldin in the house, so I jumped right to the attraction, the main attraction, which was Alison Esposito. But we also have our Putnam County Sheriff who participated in the roundtable forum, so I do want to make sure that provide the opportunity to our sheriff to say a few words. He's on the ground right here managing, our public safety initiatives for the county, but also our county correctional facility as well. So, Sheriff.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. As Allison eloquently said, government has two primary responsibilities. The one I will speak about today is public safety. It was obviously blatant in the meeting at the roundtable earlier in discussions with Allison about bail reform and public safety that she's sincere and that she understands what's transpiring in the criminal justice system today. The criminal justice system is broken. It is not working. Crime has increased. Deaths have increased. Serious violent felonies have increased. We are not safer. People do not want to travel to New York. It's supposed to be a destination to go down and enjoy the beauty of New York City and other parts of New York State. They're not traveling to go there. They don't feel comfortable. They're staycations. They're staying home. Their children cannot enjoy the beauty and majesty of New York State and the shape it's in now. But it's apparently obvious when you listen to Allison just what she and Lee have planned for New York State. Common sense and everyone's approach to fixing government for all of us. Not a few, not a couple, not donors, but all of us, regardless of who you are. That's critical. We need common sense governance, and Allison and Lee are going to provide that. So, Allison, thank you very much, and great journey here. And let's get to November 8th and get her elected. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff. Very well said. I also want to make sure to provide the opportunity to my colleague from Rockland County, State Assemblyman, Candidate for United States Congress. We have shared a lot of time on the Assembly floor debating against some of these disastrous proposals that were forced through onto county governments and affected the entire state. That's my colleague, Mike Lawler. Mike.
Thanks, Kevin. Thank you, Kevin, and it's great to be here in Putnam County. One-party rule does not work. We've seen it at a federal level, and we've seen it at a state level. And across the state of New York, we have seen a rapid rise in crime. And the question to me is, what would you expect when you enact cashless bail, when you defund the police by over $1 billion in New York City, when you eliminate the anti-crime unit whose primary responsibility is to get illegal guns off the streets, when you don't enforce petty crimes, and when you parole unrepentant cop killers and child rapists? What you get is a rapid rise in crime and lawlessness. People think the law does not apply, and for good reason, because New York State has said it doesn't apply. We need to change course, and we need to change it in a big way. This November, voters have the opportunity to elect Congressman Lee Zeldin and Alison Esposito as their next governor and lieutenant governor. And having served in the state legislature, I can tell you this. My colleagues, primarily from New York City, do not care about the impact these policies are having on their own communities. They are killing people in their own streets, and it's shameful, and it has to stop. And the only way to do it is to elect a new governor, a new lieutenant governor, along with flipping seats in the state legislature and breaking that supermajority. It is critically important. And I can tell you this also. Sean Patrick Maloney, 2018, when he ran for Attorney General, said his top priority was enacting cashless bail. Well, his top priority is an abject failure, and it has destroyed the safety and security of this state and put so many of our residents in jeopardy. And it needs to change. And that's why I'm running for Congress. That's why Allison's running for lieutenant governor. That's why Kevin's running for county executive. We need change across the state, and we need new voices and a willingness to stand up to the status quo and fight back. And that's why we're here today. And I just encourage everyone in 3 months' time to get out and vote, to move our state in a new direction and ensure that our residents have the safety and the security that they deserve, and that we're able to make our state and our communities more affordable for all of our residents to live in. So it's great to be here in Putnam County, and I thank Kevin for helping organize this.
I mentioned before, we're joined by a number of officials. I don't think any of them anymore want to say a few words, but certainly you can speak with us individually. If you'd like to ask questions here, we'll do our best to answer any questions members of the press have. But certainly we can take it to the side if you'd like to do that too.
Can you tell me how many businesses were represented at the roundtable?
No, we visited businesses at a small business tour prior to our roundtable meeting,
Okay.
which was focused on public safety with active and retired law enforcement professionals. So that wasn't necessarily a small business. But we spoke with them directly before the roundtable.
And
that was all today.
How many in
How many
general?
businesses did we visit today?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think.
4 or 5.
4? Yeah, maybe. Yeah, 5 or 6. And in that first one, Promenade 6, which is a new place opening up, hopefully, they have a whole series of vendors that are leasing space in that business. So it's actually that one stop. We probably had like 4 businesses in there. Any other questions? Happy to take questions on the side. Thank you again, and thank you, Allison and Team Zeldin, for making Putnam County a priority. It will not be forgotten. Thank you.